Well, whoever wanders in will wander in.
Hey. And yeah, that means viewers as well as human people that are happening to be in the house. Hi.
Or kitty people who also might be in the room. We got any kitty people?
I had a kitty person, but my little came in, plopped down right beside the computer, tried to push the computer off while I was talking, with his face and then his paw, and then I had to shoo him out, which is just a devastating thing because whoever wants to shoo the little off?
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to nuzzle your face, but I cannot.
Yeah. Sometimes Bean will, he gets up to the computer and like the corner of it when I'm working on it, he'll move the side of his cheek, like where the scent glands are, right? I don't think he's trying to like bash it in with his head. I think he's trying to like make it his because it's like mommy's toy. So.
Oh yeah. So when I say bash, it's more like, this feels good. I love you.
Okay.
So Liv is like a very aggressive, affectionate cat. Like he will come up and bash you in the forehead, and then he'll just like lick your forehead right after. He'll be like, thank you. I love you. And I'm like, okay, I have a headache, but I'm so glad you love me.
It's nice to have some kitty love.
Right.
So this is just our informal chat. Our, what's it called? Not afterward. What's it called? After a play. I just blanked on this. I used to go to these all the time.
After party? Yeah.
Talk back.
Oh, we're talking back to people. Oh, yeah. You know I'm all about that. I'm ready to get snarky.
So this is our informal talk back. We just wanted to highlight for you some of the awesome things that went on today at the day one of Jolabokaflod. Right there. There we go. And, you know, because it's informal, we're just going to slap people's names up here and go, ooh, called you out, shouted you out. Right? Yeah. Hello, Michelle. So just saying hello to all the people. We started out with Evan and Evan Morgan Williams. His names are all Welsh, so I thought I'd give that a little flourish. And I loved the fact that his stories are set in the mountains and the oceans of the Pacific West. And he rebinds his books in Bureau of Land Management materials.
That was so good.
That was so awesome. So that was really fun. So you should watch his book on hand-bound books.
Yes, because honestly, you're going to want to rebind books even if you love them. And because I want to do it. I want to go and get all the stuff. And suddenly I'm questioning if my cover is good enough or if I should, in fact, have fully like hand-bound personalized covers. And I have a lot of books. So this could be a whole project. But, you know, we're still in 2020. I'm pretty sure it stretches into 2021. So let's do this, I guess, right?
I feel like for people who get like spray painted edges for special editions and like gold foil whatevers, I want to commission, this is when I have all the monies, I want to commission Evan to do like a very limited select run of my books that are hand bound in like something cool.
I like it better that he does it. Yes, that sounds good.
Really cool.
He gets the business and I don't have to do the work. Cheers.
Cheers. All right. And then we had Debbie Dodds, which was fictionalizing your memoir. And I thought it was really great when she said, fictionalizing my personal story gave me the option to give it a real story arc. So often we have just dead ends in our past where like, wow, what if I had done something differently? It's just like A to B and it sort of ends. But she said, well, if you want to make that into a story, just twist it around a little, right? So
and hey, if you ever have a regret, you can then turn it into not a regret, whatever that's called.
Yeah.
What is that? Is there a word for that? A satisfying ending.
Yeah.
Changing your history and make it into fiction. Love it.
Oh, yes, Beth, we got it. Peep the mugs. Peep the mugs. Mine's very
cool. There we go.
It's very cool. Yeah. I went back to tea. I went tea, water, hot chocolate with marshmallow, which led to an issue if you saw. And then back to tea.
Hot cocoa's next.
Yes. And then Anissa saying the binding of the books was too cool. Yes. We love Support Evan. That was a really cool one. And Beth saying binding her future books with pages from the OED. Yes.
Yes. I love that idea.
Would that be a Muppet book? With the OED, that would be an interesting combination. Very cool.
We're gonna have Beth in one of these coming years. You're gonna have her because she was here last year. We're gonna have her in the coming years, probably with a zillion books. She's gonna be super prolific and wonderful because she's very talented. So what was our third up?
Well, the other one that Debbie pointed out that I had not thought of was her small unit strategy. Did you cotton on to that?
Yes.
So when you're fictionalizing something that's real, something that you can do that will make people feel, oh, that's not about me, like an automatic turn off, is giving the males the small equipment, because then they definitely are like, no, that's not me.
Or I feel like for women, you could make them have like a really bad accent or bad breath or something, so that they would just definitely be like, that's obviously not me. I mean, yes, that's my hair and kind of my body build. And I'm pretty sure we had that conversation, but I do not have a misshapen butt and my breath smells fantastic.
All right. So
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah, OED for the middle grade fantasy. Definitely.
Oh yeah, I could totally see that.
Hands on. Hello, and welcome. We're just showing the highlight reel from today and like grabbing all the cool quotes from the panels we had today. In case you didn't get to sit through all of them like we did, you should definitely watch them at your leisure.
Yeah.
So Becky Garrison was up next, and just a note, she's offering her book, Roger Williams' Little Book of Virtues, for half off and free shipping, which is a great deal. And so if you go to her panel, we've got the code CONF2020 and the link for you to just buy that book. And it's a great, great deal. But I love the way she was highlighting, now I'm going to blank the name because I didn't write this part down. The guy who founded Gary Austin, the Groundlings, which is a improv troupe in LA, who's like super huge and famous. And he went on to found not an affinity group, a connected community. So she was talking about all these different communities we have based on different hobbies and interests and values. That is a great alternative to religion. And we've got loads of them in the Pacific Northwest. So that definitely made me interested. I could not keep up with all the ones she was mentioning with the chat. So I look forward to going back and like taking notes and then Googling them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, tons of resources. Quite a few of these you could probably just keep on your watch later and go back and use for actual like resources as a reader and a writer. Oh.
Yes. Okay. So Paulo's was next. We've got this quote: if you can't work but you have a thought, scribble it down. When you have time to get going, you'll have all these prompts to get you on your way. And Hocus's account. So I guess Andy said that was actually something he had done. Now that his kids are grown, he has time to go through like 15 years worth of things. And I was like, wow, that's going to be a task.
It's actually all of that started because Beth, one of our little people in the little chat, she has spent the entirety of this last year going through all of her collected notes, because that's like what she's done is every time she has a good idea, she's written it down, which Paula brought up some really great ideas of how sometimes when your creativity doesn't work for you writing long form, just take what you can get, basically. Right. Or do what Ben did and, switch it up, write poetry if you can't write your novel.
Or paint.
New things. She has some really great ideas. You should watch her panel.
Yes. All right. So that's Paula Butterfield, who wrote La Luministe, which is an amazing book. I can't wait to start. Our next panel was Undaunted Daughters with 4 Pacific Northwest authors who are all amazing. And I learned a little bit about the etymological background, the etymological roots of the word daunt. So you may know it, educated reader, erudite viewer, from great erudite heights such as Dauntless in the movie How to Train Your Dragon. But it's actually, I don't know that she said a time, but it used to mean to tame. So like to daunt a horse would be to tame the horse. Apprivoiser is the French version. So it's like you get someone used to you so that they're pliable and manageable for tasks. And so that's why she was like, daughters will not be this anymore. And yes, I love that.
Yeah, very compelling conversation surrounding the definition and each of their books and how it relates to the definition of daunted.
Daunted, yeah. One of the quotes I got, Elizabeth Rush was on there, and she was talking about Amber Kaiser's book, and she said, feel like you're reluctant to read a rape culture book, but it's essential reading for opening your eyes to the subtle ways we're all being herded and trained in ways that are disturbing. So you should definitely read it. So, yay! All right. We had our YA panel next, which was sex, drugs, violence, what belongs in YA and what does not. What did you take away from that one, Elle?
So I found that it was really nice to hear from different genres within YA, but I really liked the question, honestly, that they posed the most, which was kind of why do they have to hold back when in every other aspect of their readers' lives, no one else is, they are using the words that we're supposed to not use as authors. I write YA as a very small hobby. It's something I probably won't publish, but just as YA authors, they're not supposed to go into certain details. They're not supposed to use certain words, and yet their audience uses those words. They watch the movies. And so it's kind of this, why not? But they're not supposed to, and what's the fine line, and how each of them handled really taboo issues for the ages. And I thought the way they handled them were really, really good, because each of them, they looked at it differently. They looked at sex differently, and some made it awkward, some made it funny, others made it just kind of the way it is and romantic. And I just thought it was a really interesting way to look at what we kind of just say is a part of that book. Let's just not talk about it.
Right.
So it was eye-opening, and I would suggest you guys watch it. It was one of those very great conversations of the day.
Yay! Love the YA panel. Woohoo! Yeah, it's interesting when you say taboo, because that's the word I was thinking at you right then. So obviously we're connected. But it's just books, right? Because it's in movies. All the stuff is in movies, and it's there's a subtle difference in expectations for people who read books rather than people who consume movies. And I think that's a class thing, right? If you read books, you're supposed to be held to a different standard. So the writers are held to a different standard.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting topic. We need a part 2 for this. So maybe we'll do a pop-up at some point.
Oh, I would love a part 2, because they kind of had to stop at a part where I had a couple questions. So yeah, I'd love to see that.
Sweet. Then we had our fantasy panel, which was about setting, and when you make up your setting, how much of it is idealism, how much of it is escapism. And I started out on the escapism side, and then we got into some really interesting idealistic impulses in our author selves. So that was Molly Ringel and Alan Batchelder, and it was great getting to know them and have this discussion. And then the last thing we closed on was the thing Molly changed in her world was having more holidays that were better. And I was like, really? Really? And then everyone chimed in and was like, yes, more Halloween. And I was like, what?
Well, everybody was anti-Christmas. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Halloween. I mean, I am Halloween, obviously.
Yes.
But at the same time, Christmas, guys, Christmas.
I know.
Let's not skip it. Let's embrace it for a whole month and watch an entire month of Lifetime romance movies. I may or may not do that. I don't know. It's fine.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, yeah, literally 2 a night. That's the thing I do. The husband is totally fine with it. He's all, which one are we watching today?
You should definitely watch that panel, especially for Alan's impression of Boris Karloff in The Grinch Who Stole Christmas.
Oh my God, it was so on point. I literally almost unmuted myself just so that I could tell him how good he was. That's how good it was.
Very
and not super unprofessional, so I wouldn't do that if it wasn't good. So
All right. And then the quote generator of the evening was, of course, the crime fiction one. That was your panel with Robert Dugoni and Kim Taylor Blakemore. I have,
great.
let's see, from Kim, I got, you need to read this master's thesis on women murderers in Oregon. Perfect. Then we had, you should put a body in a crab pot from Robert. And I was like, yes. And video gaming does make you a better shot. And that was you, Missy.
It's true. Okay. There's even a video on my Instagram where it's a real life, real in time video where it's the very first time I've ever shot a gun. It was a non-lethal gun. And so I'm shooting a rubber pellet at this little metal shape thing. And the guy's like, okay, we want you to shoot at the thigh. And like, it's because this is how they would do it if it was like a certain situation. It was for my Citizens Academy, and I shoot it, and it was exactly where he asked it to. And they all cheered, and they were like, have you done this before? And I was like, I play video games. And it's true. And then I got all the headshots. I got all the heart shots. And so it was 8 out of 10, guys. 8 out of 10. Now, it was a still non-moving piece of paper. So, like, am I a good real shot? Probably no. As soon as I put fear in general, I'd be like, take it. But a perfectly still thing, it turns out, it is a lot like that, only it's really heavy. It is very temperature
sensitive.
Thank you, sensitive. And, it pinches your finger and there's a recoil that makes your shoulder hurt, which they don't mention in a lot of books.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why we research, guys.
Not quite like Duck Hunt. Not quite like Duck Hunt. Do you remember that? Okay, so this is our like, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years age difference. I grew up on Duck Hunt, and it's a Nintendo game, and it was like ones where ducks release, they go, rah, 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 and you have to like something. Yes.
Yes, that is not, no. I'm talking about like Borderlands, where you're shooting with like a sniper rifle at this like crazy thing that's like,
yeah, I don't even know that one, so yeah. Nice.
Zombies, crazy people, and things, and aliens.
Nice.
Yes, Ben, you are right. No recoil in video games. That I think was the biggest shock. Was like, boing! Oh, that's cool. Does everyone think I still looked interesting and no one saw me wince? Excellent. That's what's important. But our panel didn't actually talk about that except for like a hot second. Our panel was awesome. And I was the least interesting person, which I always think is really great. Always, like, for real. They had so much insight, and you should go watch it. If not just for them, for me, because I'm cool too.
The last thing that I would point to is Robert's quote that he said, the things that people will record and share and put on YouTube, it's just crazy. So this was like, everyone was blowing up about this. It was totally true. So I'm glad we're on YouTube now because, we'll become part of the resource library of the universe forever and ever, right? But there was a lot of great, hints and resources and things you might not think of, and people commenting who knew things, and librarians. So yeah, definitely watch that one. We didn't have time for much of the giveaway questions. So you want to relay those 2 questions again, just to make sure if people want to get a free, yes, go ahead.
Yes. So there are 3 giveaways. All 3 of us are giving things away. And you would just comment on the video in either Facebook or YouTube, doesn't matter. But the 3 giveaway questions, mine, which I'm giving 3 ebooks of Sweethearts away. My question is, who's your favorite serial killer? And by favorite, of course, I mean most interesting to you, or favorite. I don't know. I don't know your life. I don't know your brain. Thank you. Kim Taylor Blakemore would like to know what's your favorite holiday dessert, because she's in search for good desserts. And Robert Dugoni wants to know if you know Sloane's dog's name.
Charles Jenkins. Charles Jenkins' dog, right?
Oh, see, I just read the other one, and I just read the Sloane series, and I'm just like obsessed with that series, and it's on my brain. Yes, Charles Jenkins. This is why we write things down, because at the end of a day, this brain Guys, I have had 5 meatballs and a handful of granola and 6 cups of tea. I'm unreliable at this point. Very, very unreliable.
Yes. And so, and I think Robert is giving a copy of his book that is a Charles Jenkins book that's coming out next year. So that's like a early sneak peek, which is fabulous.
Yes, and Kim Taylor Blakemore is giving away her upcoming book that comes out in March. So
Alice Fell, historical mystery.
So though mine's not new, but theirs are both paperbacks, both upcoming. Like, you obviously just want to go on, answer these 3 questions, get yourself some books, is what I'm saying.
So that was very awesome.
Yeah.
We're very, very thankful for all of our authors who participated today. They all did a great job. They performed well under pressure, even with snafus thrown at them that were nobody's fault. We all did great. So thank you so much for participating, all you guys out there. And I also wanted to make a point, because I didn't get to this before somehow in all the talking that I've done on all the platforms that we've been on, that because this is an indie author fair and we're trying to promote and highlight indie authors, we're also supporting indie bookstores. All of the authors today and tomorrow have chosen their own outlets for their books. And so when we put a link to buy their books in the chat, that means that that is who they have a relationship with, or, you know, they're putting all their effort into publicizing. And so that's really where we want to direct people to support local businesses, to support small businesses. It might be their website. It might be a local brick and mortar. And that's just the kind of thing we want to see in this world. It's like biodiversity of the literary scene. Yes, please.
Yes, exactly.
So, yes. So please go and watch those videos from today, and we'll see you tomorrow. Any other final thoughts from today?
Just thank you guys so much for coming. This was fantastic. I'm so very proud of everyone, including ourselves, for getting through this day just on tea and snacks at home. And yeah, I just appreciate you guys coming and supporting indie authors. We're fighting through this world some days, and we really appreciate all the support you guys give us. Seriously, it just means a lot to us.
Yes. Oh, and if you are watching any of the videos from today or tomorrow, you'll notice we put an attendee survey, and that is just because we want to hear how people are coming to us and how we can make Jolabokaflod PDX better and better for you. So feel free to go into that form as many times as you need, and we'll get the feedback at the end, and, you know, let the democratic process take its course. Take it something. My brain. We're done.
I know we're done. Yes, Ben. Well, I don't know if you have a serial killer that's named as a holiday dessert. I mean, I don't know of one, so I feel like I should. And if you have a holiday dessert named after a serial killer, I should also know this.
I feel like there's definitely like a flaming British pudding that would come in under this, like some kind of, yes.
You know what I'm saying? So like, maybe if you can mix them up, this is the time to mix them up? Because I feel like we would accept both answers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of perfect.
Cool.
Okay, guys. Fantastic. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.